How's it going, everybody? Hope you had a great weekend. It's kind of a gray, chilly autumn morning here in South Jersey, so it was the perfect day to fire up the oven and bake a little lentil bread. I just got wrapped up with that, and now the house is nice and warm. And I'm sitting here reflecting on the experiences of this past weekend. Whenever our community gathers, as we did this past Saturday, I usually like to take some time, chew on things a little bit before sharing all that much about it. But this time around, I got called to offer up some insight. You know, as we usually do when we gather in a circle like that to pray, we honor the four directions of the medicine wheel: the east, the south, the west, the north. And it's not uncommon that we focus on the mental, the emotional, the physical, and the spiritual energies, teachings, and necessary healings of those directions. Our way of holding ceremony has been described as pretty forgiving, which is not a reflection by any means on any other traditions. It's simply to say that when the work gets too heavy, people have permission to ask to step out of the circle and sit with whatever it is they're going through. And then when the next round comes back up, if they're ready, they can step back in and join the circle again, continue on with the ceremony. Often that brings them some new experiences that they like to share with the group, or maybe even changes their intention moving forward. And this time around, I got called to step out in the third round, the direction of the west. And so as I was sitting outside of the circle, my work was pretty heavy and I was feeling kind of ground down. And so I was just letting it do its thing. I got to thinking about the people and the places I left behind in Northeast Pennsylvania when I moved to Delran, New Jersey 27 years ago. I was 35 at the time and had spent all my life up until then in that Northeast PA Valley. So it was kind of a culture shock. I'm not much of a traveler, and except for a couple of out-of-state drives or plane rides, my biggest adventure up until then was a trip I had taken with the Cub Scouts to the Thousand Islands. So I'm pretty much of a homebody. And in that transition, I ghosted some people and got ghosted by some people, and I had to do a lot of grieving for that. I knew, though, that if I didn't leave and make it a clean break, that I was going to die there. And to be honest, that clean break didn't really happen all at once. It took a while. And so there was a lot of sadness, a lot of grief, and a lot of digging through past experiences. And while I was sitting there this past weekend, I decided to take those experiences and to examine them through the directions of the medicine wheel, from the mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual perspective of what happened. And I thought about all the mental illness in my own family, my own, with some of the people in our group, the bullshit stories we used to tell ourselves and about ourselves, and the arbitrary ideas we had that could shift at any moment that we had to try and live up to, the way we judged ourselves based upon our ability to do so. Emotionally, it was constant turmoil. It was drama. It was pretty rough. There was a lot of anger, sadness, grief that was there. A lot of us came from difficult homes. We each were dealing with our own emotional turmoil in our immediate homes, or maybe in our extended families. Some of us never made it out of that. Physically, we just didn't give a shit about ourselves or anything else, and so we lived pretty destructive lives. We drank too much, partied too hard, slept too little, moved too fast. We just didn't care. Everything was expendable. And spiritually, it was a graveyard. We never saw a way out. We claimed to pray, but not with any real fervor. And so it was pretty dark, and it was pretty bleak. When I was ready, I stepped back into the circle, and as I did, I began to think about the gifts that I brought along with me. And I traced them through each of the directions as well. Some of those people that I ran with were some of the most intelligent and creative individuals I've ever met in my life. Our conversations ran deep. Our dreams ran big. Many of them were musicians, artists. And out of that time came some of the most creative periods in my own life. I got to do a spoken word CD with some guys in a band that were up there that was one of the most popular bands in the Valley at the time. We got to do a project, a girl who was just a phenomenal photographer. She and I did an art project of words and pictures that hung in a gallery there for quite some time. We sold quite a few pieces. It was just a wonderful experience. Emotionally, it taught me how to love people who at times were hardly even likable, myself included. How to sit with those people through some really dark times without judgment, and to have that love tested but not be broken. Physically, it taught me that while I might not be wired with Olympian strength, physical strength, I am wired with constitution. Maybe not the kind of constitution that keeps me from getting allergies or getting sick, but the kind of constitution that's required to walk through some pretty dark and demanding experiences with people and come out the other end alive. Few of us never got that privilege. And spiritually, I wouldn't be here on this path right now if I didn't make it through those times and make that transition. There was always something that kept me just on the edge of it. I always felt like I never quite fit in, because the truth of the matter was, I didn't. But I didn't know that that was because something much larger than myself was looking out for me. In my own despair, I saw myself as always being just a little out of touch. I never really saw the positives of that. And so the insight that came to me as I joined the circle and started reviewing things in that way was that in order to carry something with you, sometimes you have to set it down or walk away from it. Until next time.